MP3. Put your hands together for MP3, Mr. Micah.
People on every occasion continue to ask me, who are you? They call you a speaker. They call you an author. They call you a motivated entrepreneur. Some even call you a writer. Some even say you're super.
Reached out his hand and took hold of him, saying to him, "Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt me? Why did you doubt me, Peter?" So when I look at this is what comes to mind. When I look at Peter, a lot of times we try to look at his faith, right? We try to look at Peter and say, you know what, Peter of little faith, even Jesus said it himself. But when I look at Peter, I don't want to just look at Peter, I want to look at his eyes. Right? What happened to Peter's eyes? He took his eyes off Jesus in the midst of the storm. Right in the midst of it. And for some of us, we did the same thing in the midst of the pandemic. We said, God can't save me through this. Right? We're in the hospital on a ventilator. God can't save me through this. Right? We're catching COVID-19. God can't save me through this. But what we have to understand is God can do anything exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ask or even pray for. Right? So when we look at Jesus, when we keep our eyes on him, anything is possible. Anything is possible. So when I look at Peter, I find that not only did he lose his faith, but he lost his focus. Right? He didn't not only lose his faith, but he lost his focus. And it's crazy because when you look at focus, wherever your focus is, your faith is also. Right? When he focused on Christ, that's where his faith was. When Christ said, get out, that's where his focus was. The disciples were still in the boat, but he got out in the midst of the storm and he saw Jesus, and that's where his faith went. He didn't leave his faith in the boat. He took his faith with him. But when he took his focus off of Christ, he put his focus on the situation that he was in. He looked at the wind, he looked at the water, and that's where his faith went. Right? So before he lost his faith, he lost his focus. That's the first thing we have to understand. We have to remain focused on Jesus.
Hey everybody, I'm Pastor Nick Champlin from Faith Christian Church in Clearwater, Florida. We're here at Look Up 21, and Micah MP3 was just up on the platform and he delivered an awesome message. He talked about how that in times of trouble, like we just came through in 2020, he likened it to when the disciples were in the boat with Jesus and Jesus had said, let's go over to the other side. But you know, that storm hits, and even though Jesus has said, we're going to go over to the other side, you still get nervous, get a little freaked out. Man, he spoke to everybody about how the trouble is past, the trouble's passing, and we need to get on now. It's time to get out of the boat and move forward. And that message touched me. I know it touched everybody else here. And I just appreciate a man that sought God, said, Lord, what is your rhema word for this event? And he brought it.